Good morning, everyone. So this morning I'm going to be getting ready and we are going to be talking about all this raw stuff I said, So I'm getting ready with you guys. You guys can see how I guess put on my makeup every morning on a quick morning because it's going to be like a quick getting ready. So going back to being raw, I really wanted to kind of show you because there's a lot of people that don't really know my story. People have been with me for for 10 years or longer, and or have, just recently been following me, or have, really just, start following the brand, Your New Image, and, all of our beauty stylists that, we will continue talking about. We'll show you who they are later in the month. And, I really wanted to tell you guys, where I've been and how it all got started. I'm dragging it on because it's going to be so raw for me and I've never done this ever. So you're going to just have to bear with me because, I don't want to shed some tears, but I may. I graduated a year from high school, which I'm extremely proud of. And like every other graduate, they continue their, college years, or they continue on to something that they're extremely passionate about, and they're trying to find themselves, right? Because I don't think at 17, you really know what you're going to do. I mean, I knew that I wanted to be in the hair business. I knew I wanted to do makeup. I didn't know. But the journey to get here was not that easy. I have a lot of people say, oh, I want to go into doing hair and makeup. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, you should. And they're like, I can build a clientele up, immediately. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Especially in this day and age where social media is so live and you're able to grow immediately. But it was a lot of consistency, a lot of different things. It's not gonna happen every day. You can ask any of my clients. I talk to them all day long. They will text me all sorts of stuff, and it's just building relationships. I FaceTimed and messaged a client maybe 2 weeks ago, and we just talked, and maybe until about like 2:30 in the morning. And it's just these relationships that you're building. So anyways, going back to high school, and I'm beating around the bush. Like any typical person, you think that you're gonna go after your goals and your dreams, but mine was a little bit not that easy. I had a baby young, and he was not a normal baby. He came out with lungs where asthma, and again, this is something that could be controlled and could have been super normal. It was not normal in his case. He was hospitalized every year up until the age 7 for 2 weeks, and then seasonal and weekly, where he would be sick for weeks or days, and then he'd be fine for a couple of weeks and months, and then it would be back to the same routine. He had to be on medication for a long time. He's still on medication, actually. And with that, it was kind of hard to do because, I was a young adult. I wasn't even an adult yet. I was a teenager. And growing into being an adult. And it was hard because, you're trying to find out who you are, what you're going to do, what you want to do, and then all of this, in the midst of trying to like grow up, right? And then becoming a parent, a single parent, but that's a whole nother subject for a different day. So as I continue going, I did, go to school and take some different classes and continue going, and I'm gonna skip through so I can tell you later on in another video what schools I went to and how I got licensed and all that good stuff. But to continue fast forward, I assisted a hairdresser, would go in from 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we would stay there till about maybe, I would say 12:30, 1 a.m. I can't remember if it was later or anything, but I do know that, God sent him into my life. He was an angel. He actually paid my bills for a couple of years. And, that's, I think, is really rare in this industry because, you come out and you assist, and some people will pay you okay, but he did really pay me very well, and he taught me a lot of stuff. And it was not even that, it was that when we had these moments where I could not go in because of my son, he was never like, you know what, you're gonna lose your job, or you have to do that. He was just like, you know what, family comes first, go take care of your family, I hope he's okay. He was just always so understanding. There's times where we would go in super early, 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then be there extremely all day. He had made a comment because at that moment, I guess I wasn't the healthiest person. I remember being super tired, not knowing what coffee was at the moment, and just really trying to push through my day. And he just said, you need to breathe, find God, find a church, and really focus on what you're going to do the next couple of years, because you really want to be focused and you don't want to be so scattered brain, right? Get organized. And I just remember thinking, I don't know how to be organized, or I don't know how to breathe. Like, all these different things and situations on an everyday basis. I mean, you could ask him, or you could ask my sister, you can ask friends, you can ask my partner. I mean, I was just overwhelmed, I should say. I remember not ever having a babysitter for anything. I remember going to work and trying to figure out who was going to watch him, and trying to figure out how I was going to pay for daycare or what I was going to do. I didn't even know about any other thing to kind of like get help, right? I just thought I could do it all. I'm Superwoman, I still think that sometimes. So in those moments, I would say I prayed a lot after he said that. And I just think, like, little by little, things just started falling into place. With I don't want to make this a religious thing, but I just think the more I prayed, the better things, started to happen. I remember a friend saying, you're such a good mom. Like, you always have your son. You always do everything for him. And I would be like, oh my God, I'm barely making it. I'm barely breathing. I remember going a couple of years fast forward. I remember living in our apartment, thinking like, oh, you know what? I have a roof over my house. I have a pretty roof over my house. I love it. I feel safe. We can walk and run. It was a gated community. And I loved it, right? And, but we couldn't afford groceries. We really couldn't. I remember thinking we could only eat a certain meal for breakfast, a meal for lunch, and my son never complained. He never said anything. He was just always just so happy, and which is super important, right? But you don't think about those things because you just think like this is what you have to do to do it. And as I continued growing and building, and going through my growth, I feel that it has now helped me understand a lot of different things. I think relationships. I remember being an assistant and working behind his chair. And hold on, my monsters. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I told you it's life, right? And So when I was talking to his clients that were like doctors and, lawyers, I'm like, how am I going to ever get clientels like that? Like, I'm nobody. And I think that was like my first mistake. You're everything. If you do not believe in yourself, you are not going to make it in this industry. And I think that's what he was telling me then. I just didn't think that I really grasped the idea of it until then, and so to me that's like super important for us to all understand, right? You have to believe in yourself. And even at my darkest moments, I feel after that motivational conversation with him, he really made me believe that I could do it, and I worked really hard. I remember when all my friends were out partying. Oh, go, and don't get me wrong, I went out too, I had moments where I went to have a break and stuff. But I remember when they would go out on Friday nights, or there would be tailgates, because they were all in college. They would go to tailgates on Saturdays. I could never go because I had to work. My goal was to work and work and work to build something. Because at the end of all of this, at the end of all of this journey, I hope in the next 20 years, my child would benefit, my partner will benefit, my future kids will benefit, and their kids will benefit. And I hope that they will know that you don't have to repeat generations of generations and generations, right? You can be something different, you can grow, and you can really be anything you want to be. It sounds so silly, but I do remember my mom saying, like, every morning when you wake up, you have to find something after high school or whatever, because we're in grade school and middle school. We're like, I really want to do this. I really want to do that. And she's like, you just need to be happy, and you need to find out what you love, and you need to understand that every day in the morning you are going to go to this place, or any time of day, because for me it's any time of day, you are going to go to this place and you are going to either love it or you're going to hate it. And I would rather you love it than hate it. Don't worry about the money that you're going to make, know that you're going to love this job. And then, of course, you get older, and at that time, you really just don't pay attention to your parents, right? And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I listened to you, because I really do love what I really love what I do. The money will follow. I think the struggles that I have gone through, I think it was because of choices. I don't think I blame myself for those choices, because I think that we're young, and I don't think you can really judge yourself with making any of those choices, right? When I look at my son now, and I look at him and I tell him, okay, well, you need to do this, or you need to do that, or you need to do this, and you need to focus on that. And then I stop and think, well, you know what? He's this age, he's processing all this information, and he's a kid. Was I rebellious? Heck yes, I was. Did I talk back? Yes, all children do. Did I push limits? All children do. And I don't think that I really realized that until as an adult. Who would have known that, right? So again, when everybody was out and going out, and they're like, come out, just come out. I'm like, no, I have to work in the morning. I have to do this in the morning. I have to do that in the morning. Oh, I don't have a sitter. Or, I have to go. Again, a lot of the time was I have to go work in the morning on Saturdays. And so most of the time I would see them like on summer nights. I think I would go out the most, or like have like a girl night. It's like in summer when everybody was off, or in like wintertime, because I know during the school year everybody was at school and they were going to have like pep rallies or have whatever at UTEP, and then I wasn't going to be able to go. And everything I did was like online. All the school that I did, or when I would go to school and stuff, it would just like be like this just so many different things. School, work, home, school, work, home, you know, and I think that's what you experience like when you're an adult. I just think at 17, you don't really realize it. I remember going to San Diego and my mom saying, okay, you can go, I'll help you and stuff. But it was just so like overwhelming because, you know, you're here, you're there, you're back and forth, and it was a roller coaster. So I don't want to think that me building this business has been an overnight thing. It has not been. It's been very, very hard. And I don't think that... Excuse me. Come on. Come on, we're on camera. We're on camera. You know, again, we get distracted on life stuff every day. Come on. And I knew this was going to happen, but I mean, I just thought, well, I might as well, let's just try it. And then, of course, the mini-me's going to come watch. Well, we'll see. So where was I? So with my child, he's seen everything between what we have, what we don't have, and I hope one day he appreciates everything that we've had to get to this place. I mean, I can get really low and tell you some really dark moments, but I think that I'll share that for other videos until we can continue growing. But the way we strategize everything that we do has been, me and my partner, we really have taken everything on a form and a plateau and kind of build on each week and each day on what we're doing, how we're going to do it, what's the end result, what's the goal, what do we want to do for the week, and what do we want to show people. You know, all these videos and stuff are really strategized. You know, they're not, well, except for this one's very, very raw. But every kind of product that we go look into and stuff, or everything that I grab from Sephora or online, I really get them, look at them, love them, and kind of just talk about it, you know, and see what you guys like and what you guys don't like. But nothing is ever just half-assed with me, and I think that's what my clients like. I think they like that it's honest and that I try everything, and that they're going to get like the best result versus something that is not, they're not questioning that. They're like, you know what, Samantha likes it, so I'm gonna get it because I'm sure I'm gonna like it too. I don't think you can almost message anybody off my client list and they would be like, oh, I don't like that actually. You know, I think everything that I have suggested they do like. And I think that's super important. I think that for everybody to want to trust me, and I hope you guys start, you know, you continue to trust me, know that no matter where you begin, it's not, I'm 10 years into this business, and it's not something that was an overnight thing, and but I'm not where I started. I'm not where I want to be, but it's definitely has completely changed, you know, from eating one meal, morning, night, and lunch for months, and being so prideful, because I was so prideful. I never told a living soul, I never told anybody any of these struggles that I had. I remember asking a other beauty person, you know, where I even asked her, I was like, you know what, I'm moving into this apartment, I really have to, you know, move there, I will feel really safe, but I'm not going to be able to like afford clothes for a while. Is there any way that you could give me your son's clothes? She's still one of my beauty team members. She's been with me for a long time, and we've worked together forever, and without her help at that moment, I would I don't know what I would have done. I mean, I think I've never ever asked for help, and for me to ask at that moment was something very surprising for me at that moment. And me even sharing that right now is very surprising for me. So with that being said, you know, what we do now is like on our trip to New York, we went to the store. Um, we drove an hour to get there. We bought some clothes and from that shop, and we brought it back, and we've given it to a couple families in need. We continue doing that. We help family members who need it. We help people who need it. We do our best to give back, because I know what it's like not to have. And which I think is, I don't know, I try not to forget that, because I feel like I am so blessed. I am extremely blessed. I feel like I need to give back, because those people that are there at that moment are not going to be there forever. It's just a season. They will, I believe that they will be where I am at in a couple of years, and then in those moments, you know, everybody will keep growing. I believe that. And I think that when you guys follow me on my social feed, you guys can see that, because all of my clients have come to me, and then they grow and they leave and they go somewhere else to a whole nother city. They like achieve goals, and I think that I maybe we just circulate, and we kind of we gravitate people like ourselves. And I think everybody who has come into my chair, they just keep growing, and not just growing in career wise in life, you know, things that they're sharing. And I think that is amazing, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I really would. I mean, I just like to see everybody just kind of just so happy. And so, you know, I think the best thing in life, besides, you know, I guess your spouse, right? Or a family, or a partner, or a best friend, is your hairdresser, because we keep secrets like ain't nobody's business. And we're like the like therapists. We really are, because we can just like vent. And I'm sure y'all know a lot of my dirt and a lot of my stuff. Not that I have a lot of dirt, but I mean, I got some stories from when I was younger. And I think that's the best part, because you kind of just are having so much fun behind the chair that you're having fun at home. I mean, and I say home because it's like my home there. You know, it really is. Behind the chair is my next home. When somebody asked me, what is your lifestyle? And I was like, my lifestyle? What do you mean? I'm like, well, my family, church, hair, makeup, traveling, Goldwell, KMS. I mean, these are things that I do on a regular basis. These are, I mean, although it's my job, it is my hobby. Coffee, I mean, obsessed, right? Because I don't know how I would do it. I know another beauty team member, she said, what do? You just don't sleep ever. You mean you just don't sleep? I'm like, I know. I don't know how I do it. I just do it. And I think that's, I just do it. I think that over the years, it's just become something I'm just used to, where I'm like, okay, I have to get up. And also because I think Landon's asthma has made me so, I just was never really sure. I remember keeping him in the bed for so long, because I was like, I just want to make sure that he's okay. I want to be able to hear him breathe. If he's crackling, I used to call it crackling, because when you have asthma, or you have extreme asthma, you can almost hear these little, it sounds like pop rockets, or like crack, I don't know, like crackling. Like if you crackle something, I don't know. Crackle something. I don't know how can I explain it. Like when you're finished with a bag of chips and you go like that, it makes that little noise. That's what it sounds like. And it's horrible. I don't